Still More Stories from Grandma's Attic by Arleta Richardson, illustrated by Dora. Chapter 12, The Surprise Birthday Present. I always loved birthday parties. Balloons, games, ice cream and cake. Attending them was such fun. But before I could go, I had to buy the present with my own money. Somehow my allowance was always gone, and I ended up explaining my problem to Grandma and asking her, "Can you think of a way I can earn some money?" She never failed me. There was always some job to be done, but sometimes it took a long time. "I need all this wool rolled into balls," Grandma replied one time I asked her to help me earn money. "Stretch the skein over the back of the chair and I'll show you how to start." "How many skeins are there?" "Only about 12, Grandma laughed. "Enough to keep you busy for a while." "Can you tell me a story while I'm working?" I asked hopefully. Grandma thought for a moment. "I guess I can tell you about a time I worked to earn some money. It wasn't as easy as rolling yarn, but it was for the same purpose." "A birthday present? Whom was it for?" "It was for Pa," Grandma replied. "The whole family went together to try to earn money for it. Pa's birthday was in May, but we started thinking about it right after Christmas. We had attended a service at the church on New Year's Eve, and Ma remarked about the state of Pa's good suit. "Your work overalls look better than your Sunday suit," she said to him. "The seat of those pants is so thin I don't think you're going to be able to wear them much longer."
"I agree that they aren't in the best of shape," Pa replied, "but I can't afford another suit this year. Maybe if the crops are good, I can get one next winter. In the meantime, I'll just have to sit easy."
Ma shook her head. "That one will never last, but I don't know what we can do about it." Nothing further was said, but Ma didn't forget about Pa's worn suit. One morning in January, she mentioned it again before we left for school. "The new Sears catalog is here," she said. "We could get a good suit for your father for $25. The question is, where will we get $25? $25? I gasped. It might as well have been 25,000 as far as we were concerned. "It sure would be nice to get that suit for his birthday," Ma continued. "I'm going to start thinking about how I can earn some money."
"We will too," Reuben offered. "Roy and I can go in with you and buy it."
"I want to help too," I put in. "I can earn money if you can." Ma looked at me kindly. "There's not much a little girl can do for pay, but it's nice of you to offer. We'll see what we can do." On the way to school that morning, I took up the matter with Sarah Jane. "What would you do to earn a whole lot of money if you needed it?" I asked her. Sarah Jane looked startled. "Do you need a whole lot of money?" "Yes, I need $25. She stopped short in the middle of the road and stared at me. "$25? She exclaimed. "You couldn't earn that much in a million years. What do you need it for?" "You're not much help," I sighed. "Oh, I need it for a new suit for Pa, and I don't have a million years. I only have until May." Sarah Jane counted on her fingers. "That's just 5 months away. You'll never make it. How come you have to buy your Pa a suit anyway?" "I don't actually have to do it all alone, but I want to earn my part. Ma and the boys don't think I can earn any money, but I'll show them." "Well, good luck," Sarah Jane said. "If I think of some way, I'll let you know." We walked the rest of the way in silence, but my mind was busy searching for ideas. I was only half listening as Miss Gibson read the scripture for the morning. "Trust in the Lord, wait patiently for him, and he will give you the desires of your heart." There was the answer. Trust in the Lord. I knew all about doing that. We had been taught that God takes care of his children and gives them everything that is necessary. A new suit for Pa was necessary, wasn't it? But wait patiently, that would be the hard part. I wasn't very long on patience. I usually wanted things to happen right away, or sooner. I could just see that suit in the catalog. "Mabel," Miss Gibson's voice broke into my thoughts. "Yes?" "I've spoken to you twice now. Where has your mind been?" "In the catalog," I blurted out, and then turned red as everyone laughed. I was thinking about the Sears catalog. I'm sorry, I'll listen now." At recess time, Miss Gibson came over to where Sarah Jane and I sat on the steps. "Did you see something in the catalog you wanted, Mabel?" she asked me.
"Yes, ma'am, I want a suit for my pa."
Miss Gibson looked thoughtful. "That's a pretty big order. Where will you get the money for it?"
"That's what I don't know," I replied. "But there must be something I could do to earn it."
Miss Gibson nodded. "I'm sure there is. You'll think of something." All of January went by and I had not earned a single penny. Reuben brought home 10 cents he had earned helping a neighbor mend harnesses. Roy got 5 cents for sweeping out Mr. Clapp's store.
"He wanted to give me candy," Roy reported, "but I told him I needed the money."
Ma had sold some eggs and made a dress for the minister's wife. Altogether, she had $1.50.
$1.65, Reuben counted. "We're not getting there very fast, are we?"
"It's $1.65 more than we had at the beginning of the month," Ma reminded him. "We'll keep working and praying about it." In February, Mrs. Carter gave me a nickel for going to the store for her. I had to make 3 trips to get everything she wanted, but it was worth it. Joyfully, I handed it over to Ma. "That's good, Mabel. Every little bit helps. We have almost $3 now. You mustn't be too disappointed if we can't earn it all. We'll do the best we can."
"But, Ma," I protested, "the Bible says if we trust in the Lord, He'll give us the desires of our heart. We're trusting Him, aren't we?"
"Yes, of course," Ma replied. "But remember, God doesn't always answer our prayers the ways we expect Him to. He gives us what is best for us. Money may not be His best." I couldn't think of anything that would be better, but I didn't say that to Ma. Every so often, when Pa was in the fields or the barn, I would take down the jar that held our savings and count it again.
"If you think that money will multiply because you count it every day, it won't,"
Roy advised me.
"You'll just wear it out."
"I will not," I retorted. "It doesn't hurt money to count it."
"Doesn't help it either,"
Roy teased. March passed slowly, and then April arrived with heavy spring rains. After it rained for 2 Saturdays in a row, I complained to Ma.
"How can I go out and find errands to do in this kind of weather? It isn't good for anything."
"Except to help the gardens and fields to grow," Ma reminded me. "Nothing that God sends is useless." The next week, a rainstorm did help solve our problem. Sarah Jane and I were spending the afternoon at her house. Just as we had gathered all of our things together to go to the creek to play, it began to rain.
"Oh, bother!" Sarah Jane exclaimed. "Now what shall we do?"
"Why don't you play in the attic?" her mother suggested. "You can use the clothes in the old trunk to play dress-up if you'd like."
"We can make up a story to go with it," I added. "Come on, that's much more fun than going to the creek."
We hurried to the attic and lost no time in selecting dresses and hats to try on. Sarah Jane even found an old pair of high-top shoes that just fit her.
"It's too bad your feet are so big, Mabel," she said smugly. "I guess I'll just have to wear these."
"That's all right," I replied. "I'll use the parasol. It's prettier anyway." After prancing around the attic for a few minutes, another thought occurred to me.
"Maybe I can find some long gloves in there to go with my parasol."
After rooting through a couple more dresses, I lifted out something heavy. It was made of a woolen material.
"Hey, look at this," I called. "What is it?"
Sarah Jane came over to look.
"It was a greatcoat of my grandfather's." "My, it's big," I marveled. "I never saw so much cloth in one coat." "My grandpa was big," Sarah Jane informed me. "My mother said he would make 2 of anyone she ever saw. No one else has ever been able to wear his coat."
I could hardly get my breath for excitement.
"Oh, Sarah Jane, do you think your mother would sell it to us?" "Sell it to you? Whatever for? Your pa could wrap it around him 3 times. He would sure look silly in it."
No, he wouldn't wear it like that. Ma can make him a whole suit out of it. She can do anything with a needle and thread."
"We'll have to ask. Ma might want to sell it."
But she didn't. Oh my, I couldn't take money for an old coat like that. I can't imagine what anyone would want it for. But if you think your mother could use it, you may have it.
"Oh, thank you!" I cried. "I just know we can use it. I'll take it home right now." "You'd better wait until the rain stops," Sarah Jane suggested. Wet wool doesn't smell too good, you know. She was right, so I waited impatiently for the weather to clear. Then Sarah Jane helped me roll the coat into a bundle I could carry. I hurried as fast as I could, for the coat was really quite heavy. When I finally arrived at our yard, Pa was starting toward the house. Quickly, I detoured around to the barn and went in. The coat would be safe under some hay until supper. Ma watched me anxiously as we ate.
Aren't you hungry, Mabel?
No, not very.
Your cheeks are flushed. Are you feverish?
I don't think so, Ma. I feel fine, really I do.
Fortunately, she said no more. As soon as we were alone doing the dishes, I whispered to her. There's something in the barn you have to see, Ma. It's an answer to our prayer. Ma looked surprised, but she didn't question me. As soon as we were finished, we hurried out to the barn. I laid the big coat out on the straw for her to inspect.
Sarah Jane and I found this in a trunk, Ma. Her Ma said we could have it. You can make a suit for Pa out of it, can't you?
Ma was so astonished that she couldn't speak for a moment.
Why, Mabel, I believe I can. Isn't this wonderful? We can get buttons for it with the money we've saved. We'll even have enough money left over to buy a fine linen handkerchief.
Ma hugged me, and together we took the coat to the house.
Monday we'll start pulling the seams out, she said.
I'll brush the pieces good and air them. When they are pressed neatly, they'll be as fine as any yard goods. I do believe we can have it ready for Pa's birthday. And it was. On the third Sunday in May, Pa proudly left for church in his new suit.
I don't know where you got enough money to buy anything as nice as this, he said to us. I didn't see one this fine in the catalog. You didn't sell one of the cows, did you?
Never mind, Pa, I said. That's our secret. I can tell you this much, though. We trusted in the Lord and waited patiently for him. Then he gave us the desires of our heart.
End of chapter 12.